Welcome back to the show, everyone. We are joining forces. Well, my guests are joining forces today. We've got Home Helpers with Dwight Brown and with Community Bridge Builders, Rebecca Gilad.
Hi.
Okay, we're going to find out how you guys hooked up, but the focus of the interview today is on ageism. So I'm going to start with Dwight real quick. Let our viewers know what Home Helpers does, how they can benefit from your services. Just give us a quick rundown.
Sure. Good morning, and it's nice to be here again. It's always
nice to have you.
So Home Helpers is a caregiving company that we service all of Orange County. We provide in-home caregivers for seniors and their families. So anybody that is feeling like they need help at home, whether that's to remain safe, just an extra set of hands, or we help people with bathing, grooming, dressing, after surgeries, maybe people need help. We provide all of those services. We're like another family member that can be there to help and to give people a break.
I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much for just reminding our viewers, what you do. And now I'd really love to find out how you guys joined forces. What was it that brought you two together?
There's a couple answers to that. One is, I try to be involved in the Laguna Woods community in every way that I can. So I actually am the president of a Rotary Club here. I do information sessions at Laguna Cafe every month, and I meet a lot of people that are looking to benefit, make the community better. How can the community benefit from what they do? And somebody reached out to me about Community Bridge Builders, that it would be something that I'm interested in, especially when it comes to my caregivers and how the way we talk and interact with the seniors that we're taking care of can be just as important as the care we're providing. So that's how we connected.
Interesting. Wonderful. Well, Rebecca, very nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Joining with Dwight here at Home Helpers. You're focusing on a lot of isms. I know we had a little conversation prior to going live. So I'd like to kind of get a little bit behind the scenes and explain how those isms have stacked on each other and what has brought you here today.
Well, thanks to both of you. And yes, Community Bridge Builders were a group that got together to fight against bias, prejudice, and bigotry, etc. And we started by looking at the usual racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, etc. But living in this community, we started to notice that there is also ageism. We live in a community that we are protected. We protect each other, and we're protected from isms outside. But we notice that there is ageism within. And
what does that mean, Rebecca?
It means that there are stereotypes, and that's what we think. There are prejudices, how we feel. And then there is discrimination, and that's how we act. And if you put all this together, it's discrimination, prejudice, and bigotry against the older people. Of course, you can say ageism against adolescents. Every age has its prejudices against, but against the older. And then we notice that within ourselves, that are issues, ideas that we grew up with, that we internalize, and then we act on them, and it happens here, against one against the other. For example, if you go to a rock concert, who is all the way to the front? The youngins among the elderly, and then the old are pushed backwards. That's something that you don't notice unless you're paying attention. So we developed this program where we train people, and we created a video with Channel 6 that is all about stories, vignettes about what is ageism. And we take it out to the world, and we do it here. And what is our goal? We can't change the world, but we can make people aware. And you cannot fight something unless you're aware of that problem. So we want to make people aware of what do they feel towards others, but most importantly, what do they feel about themselves. So for example, in my case, the first time I noticed that I went to a restaurant and the waiter or waitress was speaking to my children about what do I want to eat, I couldn't believe it. It was like, okay, one moment. Is this happening? I became invisible one day. And that's very hard to take. And if you're aware of it, what can you do? Excuse me, I'm here. May I tell you what I want? Or when you go to a doctor and then, oh, doctor, this hurts, or I can't see well. And the doctor says, don't worry, Rebecca, it's because of your age. Well, maybe yes and maybe not.
Interesting. So really, I mean, it starts internally, right? So it's whatever we are seeing outside, internalizing it, projecting it.
From age 3.
Yeah, it's sort of in the human DNA, I think. I mean, because we all do it, and we do it to ourselves, and we do it to others, right? Even if it's on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
So I think it's really something to bring awareness to as you are, right?
Yeah.
And then when you use the word fight, you know, that seems like it's almost counterintuitive to bringing peace, right?
Yeah.
So I think a better way of looking at it is how are we just sort of opening our arms and just being loving and warm toward each other. Yeah. And, you know, no one would have ever thought that at your example of your concerts, that the younger people would be in front. I mean, was that something that just you saw that happen? I mean, that is.
Well, you can see it. When I was doing my internship for school, I saw it for the first time in a long-term community. People in the dining room, people that were in wheelchairs or walkers were not welcome to sit in the tables where others did not. But if I may, if you look at Orange County, today, more than 17% of the population in Orange County is 65 years and older. It is projected that in 20 to 30 years, we're going to move from being 18% to being 35% in Orange County, while in the rest of California, 33%. So are we ready for that? Are we ready for that?
You know, I had heard a podcast, a young lady started her podcast when she was, I think, 40. She's now 48. And she had gotten a text on her birthday, on her 40th birthday, said, get ready to be invisible. And she said, are you kidding me? That's never going to happen. So it is starting at a younger and younger age, too, yes. Right? People are becoming aware. Why do you think there's such an emphasis on staying youthful or staying under 40 or you know, it just, there seems to be such a divide, you know, and especially when you're involved in communities like this. You don't really see it on the outside, but when you're on the inside, right, that's where you really notice it.
What were the first stories you heard when you were a child? Snow White or Hansel and Gretel? The bad woman, the witch, was the old lady. Always. Age 3, according to the research, the children start to interpret that. When you look at the history of the witch hunt, who were the most people burned? Older women.
Interesting.
It is, look at the media, look at the ads from how many years ago. Your husband will leave you if you don't look whatever, young, or defy age. We cannot fight aging. You should look good because you want to look good given the conditions.
Right.
30% of all older people are disabled in some way in terms of eyesight, hearing, walking, and that's when Dwight and his people come in.
Well, I think what's important here too is we're here to help.
Exactly.
And Rebecca and I, when we first met, talked a little bit about, do caregivers when they're speaking with clients, do they talk down to the client? Is there a tendency that when we're taking care of somebody to treat them like a child or to talk to them like a child, right? To do baby talk or, and you're an adult, a senior, you should be respected, not treated in a way that makes you feel like you're dependent on me, or right. But it's just we create these patterns, and then I think to part of Rebecca's point, we live that pattern. So when you are treated like you are dependent, you act more dependent, right? And if you're treated like, so how many older people go to the concert and think, I should sit in the back because I'm older? Is that right? So we define those patterns, and then we start acting that way.
Yeah.
So, and we don't, as caregivers, we're here to help. We're not here to make people dependent. We want to make your life as good as you want it to be.
And
right?
you're extending the independency, right? Right,
Yes.
because that's ultimately the goal.
That's the goal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, you
There is
guys.
even a term for what Dwight just talked about, and it's elder speak.
Elder speak.
Well, unfortunately, I got to cut you off there. You have your sessions on
That's
the
right.
7th. All
Yeah,
right.
next Tuesday, first Tuesday of every month at Laguna Cafe. I pay for breakfast and coffee.
All right, you guys. We got to get out of here, but thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll be back with Mako after these messages. Stay with us.